You're listening to the Decentralized Talk Podcast, your crypto connection.
Decentralized Talk. Decentralized Talk.
Welcome to another outstanding episode of the Decentralized Talk Podcast. This is our 30th weekly show now in production, and we are growing at a bull's pace in this very bearish crypto market. You guys out there won't know, but this is my second cut on that. So we're very happy to bring you the fledgling blockchain project. We met them on crypto Twitter, and we wanted to help them get some exposure. And so as part of the general idea behind a rising tide rises all boats, we're hoping to be part of the tide that raises the whole crypto space, the alt space. And to that end, we've got Jesse Hutchinson with us. He's community manager, does operations and a little technical writing for ZentaChain. Jesse, what's up?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I'm over here currently in San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, thanks for having me. We're contacted, wanted to kind of share what our project is about and kind of go from there. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you, and we're glad that we bumped into you guys on Twitter. It's a great place for cryptocurrency, and it's a great place to start a chain. So one thing that we noticed is, speaking of Twitter and starting a blockchain project, is so we saw your first tweet looked like it was June 10th, it's 2018, so about a month ago. Right. So you guys are brand new in the space.
Yeah, we're right out. So we're coming out. We have about 200 followers on our Telegram, so it's pretty much the hardest place to be. I mean, we're mid website development. We kind of made a choice that we wanted to start kind of building the community beforehand, but right now we're doing all of our own website development, all of our own writings. So all of our teams working constantly. The website should be up and running by the end of this week. So we'll be happy to shoot that over to you guys to check it out, to kind of show off a little bit of our progress and what we've been working on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, okay, so tell us, where is ZentaChain based out of? So I know you're coming at us from San Antonio. Where would you say, if the coin had to be based out of one place, where is it based out of?
Okay, so the company is going to be actually based out of Singapore. So ICO is going to be registered out of Singapore. That's just kind of what we're looking for. We needed a country that has a good tax regulation, good ICO regulation, and Singapore is one of the hottest countries in the world for this. Low regulation, they're very welcoming. So, I mean, we looked into a couple options. Switzerland wanted outrageous amounts of money, high tax rate. So, I mean, that wasn't really an option for us. And it seems like, with the world's crypto regulations, that Singapore kind of has the right idea. They're going to let companies grow. So.
Yeah, that's great. Singapore is a big tech mecca. I think Singapore right now is trying to build the tallest building in the world.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to beat out Dubai.
Good for them, and I hope they do it.
Yeah, maybe you guys can that'd be cool. You guys get a slot in there. We'll come visit you guys in Singapore.
Oh, for sure. Great.
Yeah, so so your first tweet was about a month ago. How long have you guys been in development, coding this whole ZentaChain thing?
So I want to say our project's about probably we've been in full team development on kind of putting all of our project together, probably about three months now. So the website's been in development, I want to say, about 2 to 3 weeks. So we bought our server kind of. We've just kind of been doing a lot of backdrop. We need to find proper advisors. Kind of sort through these kind of people, seeing who's interested in our project. So I'd say probably about 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So as far as seeing these little crypto babies, they're you're a little crypto infant right now. Just came out of the womb.
Yeah, absolutely.
we're gonna see you go through adolescence, the teenager stage, and then go right into adulthood and go out there and be somebody.
Absolutely. No, we hope to do it. And exposure like this is going to help us all the way. So that's why we're really excited for y'all to host us.
I hope your adolescence is not anything like mine. Be awkward and full of shame, self-doubt.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Fear.
Oh, yeah.
No, crypto puberty is a weird age.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Now, I heard you mention the ICO. Do y'all have a timeline on when y'all might be putting out the ICO?
So it's our ITO. I'm sorry, I
ITO.
probably misspoke before. So
Yeah, well, tell us about that. Yeah.
yeah,
What's
so
an-
it's
what's
an
an ITO?
ERC20 token. So I just wanted to make sure I'm not, misspeaking. I
Yeah.
first, but I wanted to correct the record. So no, I think we're shooting for the fourth quarter of this year. So that's kind of what we wanted to do. Plans, of course, will change. It's going to depend on our community support. So we want to make sure we do everything right to get the funding for our project to make it go live. And so I don't have an official roadmap, but we're looking at a fourth quarter of this year.
All right. So let's take it a step back. You mentioned you guys were looking for, I guess, the right advisors in the crypto space. So who are you finding right now, or who are you running into, or who are you guys, looking at or looking towards right now to be advisors or to be mentors kind of in the crypto space, either officially or unofficially?
Well, I think for my project, and I guess we could talk more into that, but it's actually going to be a privacy technology. So, well, for advisors, I mean, my people that we have are absolutely awesome. So I have no problems with who we have so far. But of course, you run into flaky people not willing to work, people claiming to be what they're not. And so you kind of have to shuffle through individuals. But yeah, absolutely. We're always searching for people that are really big into, privacy freaks, privacy technology, privacy activists, human rights activists, people like this that, because with my project, and I know you guys, we hear this a lot where, we want to change the world. We're going to make a difference.
Yes, we joke about that all the time. That's every shitcoin website starts with how they're going to turn the entire grid green by next year. Yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's cool. That actually makes me feel a lot better about anytime there's a new coin. You don't know what you're getting into, but that makes me feel a lot better that you guys see that in the space.
Right. Cool. And I totally I feel like my project is going to change the world, but we'll talk about that more. And
okay, well,
my argument will be better than most. I promise.
All right, fair enough. All right, so well, tell me how is it going to change the world? When you say your project, you mean your portion?
I'm sorry, my team's project. My CEO is my founder. He's head developer. He's absolutely an amazing guy. Really cares about human being aspects. So yeah, it's his brainchild. Rune out of Austria. Very good boss, very good CEO, very organized, smart guy. So I
feel like Jesse needs a promotion.
Oh, absolutely. So our project is it's ZentaChain. It's going to be a high throughput blockchain platform. And it's going to be designed to host specific services that are geared towards privacy. So we're going to be launching a peer-to-peer encrypted messenger system linked to our wallet, and then we have that's going to be called Zenta peer-to-peer. So we're going to be routing all of our messages through meshnet to ensure absolute encryption and anonymity. And security. And then our second service, it's going to be called a Zenta Cloud, and it's a distributed encrypted storage service. So where we could dynamically distribute content onto the interplanetary file system. So
yes, start telling me about so this is what we were looking at when we were reading your different pages, the IPFS.
Yes, we're very excited about this.
Because that to me sounds like something I would totally be into.
Oh, it's excellent. So we take, no credit for this. This is absolutely an open source project that's amazing. So, I mean, IPFS is just one of those technologies that's going to allow us to take our services to the next level. So in particular, we're using IPFS in order to store content. So with Zenta Cloud, which is our encrypted storage service. So this is kind of per se like a storage service content, which would be like a cloud server or something like that.
Okay.
So that's how you would think about it. But in Zenta Cloud or ZentaChain, we have no centralized servers, no centralized storage systems. Instead, what we do is we're able to encrypt and dynamically distribute and file onto the permanent web, which is IPFS. So we're able to lock our content there permanently, no matter how long you want it there for. You don't have to pay any sort of monthly fee, any rent fee, anything like that. It's just stored there, kind of like a safety deposit box for whatever data, whatever content you'd like to store there.
So how is it funded then? I guess how is so the data is stored there? It's free. Who's funding the creation of this, or how is it originally funded, or how do you make it? Who's funding it to make it free for everybody?
So it's going to have to utilize our ZentaChain ecosystem. So in order to do a data upload or download, you're going to have to use our token.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see
our token's we're starting ERC20, of course. It's just excellent. We like the build. We could get on any exchanges, and we're going to take it to mainnet because we need to solve the scalability problem in order to upload massive amounts of data onto the planetary file system. So that's specifically why we need a high throughput blockchain.
And who would y'all be? Would you market this to more consumer or business or both?
There's absolutely going to be everybody's invited to this sort of project. I mean, everybody could benefit on it, from the individual to a massive company. So we plan to just open our services. We don't have any say in who uses it, who wants it, who loves it. We're just here to give a product that the world could use.
Awesome.
Now, is this going to be proof of work or proof of stake?
Yes.
Or
So we've decided we're going to be proof of work, but we don't have a specific algorithm yet.
okay.
Cool.
Now, I heard you mention the mesh network. So what, in the most layman's terms that you can come up with, what exactly is MeshNet?
So MeshNet's another exciting, it's an open source program comparable to, say, Tor, I2P, all of these kind of distributed web programs. So MeshNet or mesh networking is a really kind of cool, open source project where computational devices will become their own network nodes. So where they're able to reach, access, and interconnect these nodes with each other. So any computer or device that is linked into the MeshNet could then openly communicate. Kind of similar to IPFS, but not exactly. And it's known to be, so if there's centralization, decentralization, mesh network is totally distributed. So almost more than anything. So every computational device becomes its own node, and then it could go even further by you could wirelessly transmit to other devices interconnecting. Like in Detroit, mesh networking is being used because internet service providers won't lay cable in Detroit because the housing market's crazy, everybody's super poor. Mm-hmm. So what these churches are doing actually is they're buying these MeshNet routers, and they are connecting them to their church. And then, every block or so, they're putting these on a house, and they're able to distribute internet this way.
So let me ask you guys: are you going to geolocate off of those pings?
Ooh, I don't know that, honestly. So I'd have to kind of get back to you. I'd have to.
So that's one of the things that freaks me out about the mobile networks. Just as a, I don't know, we got to go into this every episode, but just as a libertarian.
Yeah, you choose to.
Yeah, well, because I want to explain where it comes from, because it's not being a libertarian, I don't think it is a very popular perspective. I think it's, you know, somebody who's got to be like super smart. So, but no, that's my biggest fear is that when you have networks like that are connected and you utilize someone's phone to mine essentially, or someone's phone to be a data point, then if it's geo-tracked, then that data can be accumulated and then sold.
Well, from everything that I know and have researched of MeshNet, is absolutely pretty secure system. So
yeah, and I would think once that information is put on, you know, the blockchain, then it's not going to matter anyway because it's going to be secure and private anyway.
Right, for sure. It's known that mesh network and darknet's the other term for it, but it's known to be a very secure system.
So okay, so here's a business perspective question. So we did some research. We found out 80% of most coins fail in the first year, and I'm sure you guys have probably talked about this in your meetings and that kind of thing. So what are you going to be your kind of key bullet points as to overcoming that obstacle?
Oh, absolutely. I think the reason that so many projects, of course, fail is because they're not. When I read, I think 90% of, you know, what a cryptocurrency is about, I'm thinking I have to really kind of push myself. I'm reaching like, oh, I could kind of, yeah, and then I have to. I'm constantly kind of reaching to kind of connect their vision, and that's kind of what a lot of people, we're kind of trying to figure out, what can we actually use blockchain for? So that's kind of the real question, because a lot of people think like, oh, we could, you know, heal the world with the doctors and the blockchain, and this is gonna. And you kind of think about it and you're like, it's okay, but why can't you just host that service on the regular internet? Why would you have to use blockchain? So the real aspect, I think, real world use of blockchain is especially censorship resistant. You know, as libertarians, you know, that's kind of what everybody's really into. We don't want everybody in our business. We want to be able to fight this kind of thing. So in the last 10 years, it's crazy. There's no privacy. Everybody can see in your house. This has never happened before. They can read all of your stuff. They have access to all your data. It's not fair anymore. And ZentaChain we want to try to give that privacy back. So that's kind of and we think that's a great vision. And we think a lot of people will, because there's a lot of problems with especially messenger service, and absolutely, would you trust something you wanted to keep safe on like an Apple cloud server? Or like
Hell no.
Apple to see.
Hell no. Or Google Cloud or something like that.
Yeah, or even like tech documents for, you know, your crypto you haven't posted yet. Like you don't know. So those companies, what's in the hardware, we don't know anything. So
your peer-to-peer messaging service, I mean, that would be similar to Telegram, right?
So that would be, so we are planning on a chat. So this would be mostly like an encrypted text message.
Okay, like almost like an email system kind of deal.
This is where we're going to be at first. So of course we're going to take it up to the next level, but we want to get some sort of secured encrypted communication through.
Yes.
And then once we get that baseline, once we figure out this is secure, this is going to last, you know, with sharding tech, we need to really make sure that our blockchain's secure, because the higher TPS, the more weak your system is. So we're working on secure chain tech for it. And so there's a lot of different aspects we're attaching, but our blueprint, we feel is super solid on our project.
So it sounds like you're kind of starting off with low file size data, as in with the messaging service, and then kind of branching out into more large scale data with the cloud, right?
Right, absolutely. So Zenta peer-to-peer is going to be our least difficult challenge. We don't need sharding for it, or scalability sharding. So that's gonna be our first focus. So once we could get this product to market, then we're gonna work on our second product. So
just because I also, among being a libertarian, I'm also a layman. So what is sharding? I mean, I know what sharding is.
Excellent. So
different sharding.
yeah, so sharding is kind of the new scalability problem that everybody's kind of looking at for solving blockchain problems. As you guys know, Ethereum had super bad transactional speed the other day. The gas price went like sky high. It's like 3 weeks ago because the network was over congested. So
well, crypto kitties, right?
Yeah, for sure. All those F-coin airdrop kind of screwed the network. But so it's a solution where we're able to take our processing blocks on the blockchain. We're able to divide them into smaller blocks. So these smaller blocks have the same computational power as their larger ones. So pretty much we're able to hit more processing with these smaller blocks, spread out amongst.
Is it set up like that all the time, or is it just set up like you can like activate that in?
So we will. It's not set up like that yet. So what we're waiting for is Vitalik is actually sharding Ethereum. So but he'll do all of his own code. He won't have anybody else help him. So he's working on that all by himself. Yes. We just can't really wait around for him, to get around to it. So
yeah. My understanding is it basically takes that data. And splits it up into partitions like shards, almost like shards of glass, and that's why they call it sharding.
Yeah, it's like fractured, and then it just sounds terrible when it's.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny.
Shard is cool word, and then sharding is a terrible word.
So again, this is taking me back to my adolescence.
So I want to know more about the team. So I know you said pretty much all of the team is based out of Europe.
Yes.
So I mean, tell us a little bit about the CEOs, the lead developers. Who are these people in the shadows?
So absolutely, we have a team. We're very young. Our developer or our CEO, Haroon Kaser, is excellent. He's a state-of-the-art developer. He's got a ton of tech skills. We all, I guess, have been versed in technology since we're young because this is kind of our generational thing. So, but as for, we don't have any sort of like amazing, certifications I could throw your way, but
neither do we.
Yeah. So, but we are good at what we do, and we have found a solution, solving a major problem of today. And we do in fact have a team that could bring this to the world. And we could bring our messenger with no help at all. It's just going to take a while. So that's why we're kind of looking at our pre-sale, and because we could do all this, but it's gonna take us a long time. So we want to get some funding to get this project out on the road, start seeing kind of the effect of it. But it's exciting for us. Definitely.
So what would you say, like if you had to compare ZentaChain to another cryptocurrency, what would you say your competition is? If there is competition, maybe there's not another crypto that does it quite like y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just don't, it's not that it's like so unique, but just from what I understand, there's a few other cryptos, and I really don't want to bash, other companies and say, this is what's wrong with this. But I mean,
we have no problem bashing, by the way.
yeah, absolutely. So, no, I mean, there's programs out there that are kind of cloud storage services. They're kind of similar, but they consist of renting hard drive space from individuals and having to pay them. That's still centralization to us.
See a coin file,
a hard server somewhere, and I mean, you could say it's not accessed, but what if these people unplug your stuff? I mean, it's just kind of crazy. So that's for. But there is high throughput blockchain platforms. We're not looking to exactly like bring in other apps, or because we don't really want to host other people's products. We don't really know what their coding is going to be. So we're just we have our blockchain platform. It's not to really host the D apps, it's more the privacy services, and we'll continue to host our services, and we'll be able to access all of our services directly off of our mobile wallet or your desktop wallet. So we want it to be just real seamless. Like that's where your messages service is going to go. That's where you can push, your data, your content, and then retrieve it as well.
For sure. Now it might be too early. 3 months in, it might be too early, for talks like this. But have you discussed any exchanges that you might be listed on once you get to that point? If we want to get involved with ZentaChain, how are we going to do that? Or is it too early to even know?
Yeah, I can't really discuss that. I mean, we're definitely looking. Of course, I'm going to bring up Vitalik all the time, but decentralized exchanges are going to be the way to go. I mean, I won't have to spend so much, money listing on an exchange when, I could spend that on development and making my services better. So,
for sure.
Then from there, if we have our services and you could get the token, I mean, it's going to kind of take care of itself. So I think we're going to really focus on decentralized exchanges at first. And then, if we have to, we of course want to take it up. So, but
yeah, I mean,
what is it, 2.3 million to be put on Binance?
Yeah,
that's quite the rack. Yeah.
It's a little pricey, but I mean, you're pretty. It seems like you're pretty deep into the crypto sphere. So, did you see that Binance is really starting to get the ball rolling on their own decentralized exchange?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they tweeted out a video the other day. I mean, they don't have any kind of GUI interface yet, but yeah, they're working on the back end for getting the decentralized exchange up and running.
Very cool. So, I totally would support that, and I have no problem with Binance. I mean, I would love to be listed on such. It's just super expensive.
Oh yeah, it's crazy expensive.
It's crazy,
right?
And I think he tweeted out. I can't remember the CEO of Binance's name, but he tweeted out the other day because a bunch of people were complaining about how expensive it is to get listed, and he basically said he didn't basically say, he verbatim, he said, we don't list shit coins. that was his defense.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
There are some shit coins on there.
Right.
Absolutely.
Trust me, I've bought some of them. So
all right, so I want to play a game. And so every day we have on our show we have a 3-on-3 fast break, and we pick kind of like a different coin from the 300 level market cap. I imagine when you guys come in, you guys are going to probably be sub 300 level for at least a short period of time. And God willing, your ICO blows up and then you guys are higher than the 300 level market cap. But assuming that you are, and Jesse, that you picked your own coin or your own token rather today, I want to give you 3 minutes, and I want you to pitch me your token, and I want you to tell me a little bit about it. What does it do? Why is it good? And why would that be something that I would be interested in taking my hard-earned money and putting it into? Your time starts now.
Okay, so ZentaChain is a cryptocurrency that allows you to access the ZentaChain ecosystem. So off the ZentaChain ecosystem, you'll be able to access services such as our Zenta peer-to-peer, which is our encrypted messaging app, and Zenta Cloud, which is our distributed storage service. So with our coin, you'll be able to use in real-world application to send and receive messages securely through mesh networking, a darknet application. And through Zenta Cloud, we're going to be able to upload and download pretty much any content you want. We want to shoot for about 3 gigabytes of data first. So we'll see how that goes. But we're a high throughput blockchain platform. And then once we go mainnet, but we just really feel that in the blockchain sphere that there's not a lot of real world application for a lot of products. And one of the real world applications that blockchain does solve is censorship resistance. Okay, so that means that we can't be taken down or blocked. We become our own autonomous network, kind of like a clockwork gear running in cyberspace per se. So we want to put such a network out there that will be able to kind of give people their start giving people their freedom of privacy back.
I love it. I think you did it. I think you nailed it, and you did it, and you did it in half the amount of time that it takes us to.
Oh, that sucks. So we should have taken a little bit longer.
No, that's better because that shows that you know what you're talking about, and we do about 15 minutes worth of research on ours, so that's good. I wish we were able to do ours in a minute and a half, but no, it takes a lot longer than that. Well, Jesse, I really appreciate you coming out here on the show. We're going to be following ZentaChain, and we're going to be seeing how you guys hold out. We like it so far. We appreciate your enthusiasm. Any coin that's got somebody that really cares about what they're doing is bound to be successful. Tell the people out there in crypto space what's the best way to find out about your token, and where's the best places that they can reach you and your team.
The best place to reach us, we're going to be on we're on Twitter. Our website, which will be up this week, is going to be ZentaChain.io. So server's already bought. It's about to be posted. Our Telegram group is going to be the best way to get a hold of us. So if you search us on Telegram, ZentaChain, you'll be able to pull up our official community chat.
And what's your Twitter handle?
Our Twitter handle is going to be @ZentaChain is going to be the handle.
Awesome, dude. Well,
Awesome.
we really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll be following you and wish you all the best. Appreciate
Awesome.
you coming on the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
All righty, guys. I hope you liked that. And now it's time for our coin focus. This week's coin focus, we're going to talk about ETC. That's right. You thought we were going to talk about something wild and crazy and new. No, we're going back to the beginning. We're talking about ETC, Ethereum Classic. Prater, tell me, what is ETC?
ETC is the original blockchain before it was forked, altered, whatever you want to say, before the hacking of the DAO. Before they centralized Ethereum, basically.
Okay, so we got a lot to unpack.
yeah. I don't know if that was the best explanation for the name.
I think that was a great starter point. And now for the detailed analysis, we're gonna go. Hey, and before we get started, I want to tell a quick story. Okay, so this church, right? This is a true story. There's this church. And the preacher got up there and he started telling this story about Adam and Eve. And he got to the part and he was describing Adam, and he mentioned that Adam had a belly button. And basically about half of the church said, we don't believe that Adam had a belly button. He wouldn't need a belly button if God created Adam, right? And he created him in his own image and this and that. And they made all these different biblical arguments that Adam wouldn't need a belly button. You wouldn't have an umbilical cord. You weren't born of a woman. Then you wouldn't need one. You wouldn't have one. And half of the church said, yeah. But God gave him a belly button because he's a human. And that's how humans look. And so, yes, he had a belly button. This is a true story. That they created there's a schism in the church and created a group called the Navalites. And the Navalites were those believers of the same exact faith, but were separate on that they believed that Adam did, in fact, have a belly button. So, as Heston gets into the detail of Ethereum Classic, I think you guys will find out why that's relevant. And I think it helps if you don't understand where Ethereum comes from. Everybody knows Ethereum, and not as many people know Ethereum Classic. I think it will help you kind of understand the schism or the break and how something like that can happen.
Yeah. So much like that story, Ethereum was forked off of Ethereum Classic because it
didn't have a belly button.
Exactly. Was there a belly button in Ethereum? Some people say yes. Some people say no. No. Okay. I'm just kidding. So Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum. Okay. It was developed 2014, I believe. Now, comment please if I'm wrong on that one. But in 2016, there was a ERC20 token, a DApp developed, one of the first DApps developed on the Ethereum blockchain called the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Now, DAO is a genius idea. It can be used for government or for business use cases. So the basic idea behind it is a voting mechanism to make decisions for any kind of organization. So think of a company, and you buy shares into that company. Say Apple, for example. You own shares in Apple, and Tim Cook then makes this decision. You know what? We're going to scrap the iPhone. We're not going to make the iPhone anymore. We just don't feel like doing it. Well, if you own shares in that company, you might be like, well, I totally disagree with that decision. The stock's probably going to go down. I'm just going to sell my shares, or, what have you. Well, in a decentralized autonomous organization, it wouldn't be Tim Cook that makes that decision. It would be every one of those shareholders. So it's basically a governance mechanism for the community to make decisions for the organization instead of one central authority, as in like a CEO or a board to make decisions. So the DAO is a great idea. However, it was hacked. There was a flaw in the coding that someone took advantage of.
In the DAO, not
exactly. In the DAO, not in Ethereum. But because the DAO was an Ethereum token, 10% of the Ethereum in the ecosystem at that point was in the DAO. So 10% of the Ethereum was used to purchase DAO, about $150 million. Now, when that hack occurred, $50 million USD at that point, of what Ethereum was at that point, I'm not sure, was stolen. Okay, so it was transferred to a wallet, but to withdraw from that wallet, the DAO had a process of 27 days for withdrawals. So basically, the Ethereum community at that point realized that $50 million had been stolen. And they had 27 days to decide what to do about that situation. So there was a school of thought that said, well, you know what, this is one bad part of having a decentralized system, is if a hack occurs and somebody runs away with a bunch of money, that's just the way it is. And so you just have to deal with it. There was another school of thought that said, you know what, we can't let this guy get away with this. We can't let him steal $50 million. And at that point, with the market cap of cryptocurrency at that point, $50 million is a whole lot of money. And that was a lot of Ethereum to be stolen. So the second school of thought that said, you know what, we should fork the blockchain and erase that hack, making the original Ethereum block basically null, and creating this new blockchain that forks off of the original blockchain that does not have those transactions that were stolen. So the school of thought that wanted to fork won out, and they created Ethereum. So Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum. Ethereum, what we know today as the number 2 cryptocurrency, that's the fork that forked off of Ethereum Classic. So that's kind of where Ethereum Classic came to be. Is that because of the DAO hack, they forked off of Ethereum, and they named the original Ethereum Classic. Hopefully that made sense to everybody.
I'm sorry, I missed the part about belly buttons.
Well, it all revolves around belly buttons at the end of the day.
Well, that's a God-given fact.
But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, Ethereum Classic is the same thing that Ethereum is. It is a open source public blockchain, proof of work blockchain that deals with smart contract functionality as well as dApps. So it's the same thing as Ethereum. It is just the original blockchain before it was forked.
And the Ethereum Classic proponents are usually more purist, or the ones that wanted to stay
maximalist for sure.
And for sure, obviously it's less centralized than Ethereum now because of that fork. So it's I mean, I think everybody can agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. Vitalik Buterin, the original developer of Ethereum, was the main head behind the fork, one of the main proponents behind the fork, and so the purists, the maximalists, aren't big fans of Vitalik, and when they forked, it made it much more centralized because forking something and changing the code of a blockchain, it kind of goes against the whole decentralization of blockchain.
It goes against the immutability.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, no, I mean, to me, the craziest part about all of this is it really forced people to put their money where their mouth is. So all these people that were really into the original movement and cryptocurrency and decentralization, and we don't want any authority figure, and we want this all to be decentralized so that it's safer and so that it makes more sense and it's for the people and all this bullshit. They get to and I don't mean that it's bullshit, but I mean that it puts you in a position when something like this, when this hack happens, it puts you in a position to either take a position of, okay, well, I really do think that's bullshit and actually really just want to make a bunch of money, or I'm going to take a big heavy hit. I'm going to take a big loss, right, on my currency value just to maintain the decentralized nature of it and say, okay, we can change this going forward, but we're going to have to eat the loss. And I think what Vitalik and the other investors at the time did, many of them, is they split off like the Navalites, and they said, well, we're not going to do things the way that they have been done. And it really it flies in the face of the whole decentralized movement. It's like extremely decentralized right up into the point where it becomes a problem, and then you have a dictatorship that unilaterally determines that you're going to go a different direction, and that's the antithesis of decentralization.
Yeah, I mean the Ethereum Classic Ethereum story is, I think will forever be
compared to belly button
Navalites. No, I think it will.
Here forth.
I think it will forever be a part of the cryptocurrency history books. Because it brings up a big debate about immutability, and if it's right, if it's wrong, and I think it's a good debate to have. And at that point, with the Ethereum Classic Ethereum debate, the community spoke and they made a decision, and that decision was to fork off, and so be it. So be it. I think.
But now we have Ether and Ether Classic.
Yeah, and I mean, in my personal opinion, I think Ethereum has proven to be the winner. Now, there's a lot of people that think because of the centralization behind Vitalik and Ethereum that eventually Ethereum Classic will win out and become the top dog of smart contracts and dApps. But I think, just from my personal opinion, and again, none of this stuff is investing advice, but I think at this point, Ethereum already has so much competition with Cardano and Neo and EOS and all these different smart contract platforms. Ethereum Classic just has way too big of a mountain to climb to pass Ethereum. It just has that name value now. I don't really see it happening. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's smart. I think the only way that you could see something like that happen is if there's either some massive global regulation passed for considering these companies that are truly companies and operate like a company. Well, if they hit them with some kind of regulation, or there's some kind of chink in the armor found in these type of companies, and you have to go back to dissent. So in other words, the Bitcoin maximalists and the ETC guys are going to be in a really good position at that point.
Well, I think the argument for Ether Classic would be one. I mean, there's no, and this coming from you, Tater, there's no head of the snake, really. I mean, it's
Snakes, belly buttons.
exactly, you can't, arrest the coder because I mean, it's just a group of people working on it. It's, open source and whatnot. It's not the Ethereum. Yeah. So there's that. Also, they've been making a lot of leaps and bounds lately. I know it's been in the news quite a bit, or, on Twitter news and just out there a lot. And you hear a lot about Ether Classic right now. And they've been doing a lot and getting a lot of publicity from a lot of, big crypto people. I know Vitalik actually had a comment about how he was a fan of Ether Classic. Charles Hutchinson is a big proponent for Ether Classic. So they're getting a lot of good publicity right now. Their marketing team has really stepped it up. They've been getting some dApps on the platform recently. They have a summit coming up in September. They've been doing a lot of work on the actual blockchain itself, where apparently they have, or at least say they fixed the scaling issue with the side chains that they're producing now. And they have a virtual machine and the Emerald platform that's, and what is it, an API for building dApps, a toolkit. So they've really been pushing a lot of content out and working on their community and just beefing up the chain.
And one thing about the Ethereum Classic developers, they're more in the shadows than Vitalik is. Now, there was always Vitalik Buterin. I think everybody knew him back in 2016, just like they know him now. But the original Ethereum Classic developers, most of them really like to stay anonymous and kind of stay in the shadows.
And a lot of people don't know this, but Vitalik Buterin is actually an anagram for no belly button.
Where's the V?
You're not really supposed to look at it. It's Latin. It's a Latin translation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And the side chains, I wanted to say this earlier and I forgot, are actually proof of authority. So you're going to have, it's kind of what Vitalik is pushing for Ethereum right now, is already being utilized similarly on the ETC chain. They're ahead of the game.
They're ahead of the game. And you know who else is ahead of the game? The coins on our 300 level market cap, 3-on-3 fast break. Which brings us to our 3-on-3 fast break, where each week we pick 3 coins from the 300 level market cap and make our pitch for those coins. We already gave you a little taste of that earlier with the interview with Jesse. We're going to see if we can stretch this 3 minutes out and give you the best possible information we can in that short amount of period of time. First up is going to be Mr. Dustin Prater with First Blood. Your time starts now.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to press this one out to 3 minutes. There wasn't a whole lot of information about it. So the coin's First Blood, or the chain's First Blood, the coin is called First. They currently have a market cap of 7 million, circulating supply of 85 million, total supply of 93 million. You can buy them on OKX, ZB.com, HitBTC, Liqui, and IDEX, and they're currently trading for about 9 cents. Their website wasn't super awesome. It looks like they might still be working on it. Because really past the first page, you're not going to get much. There's not a whole lot on the first page. But, so what First Blood is it's a platform for professional gamers. So I know gaming's a big thing right now. Hell, people even watch people game on YouTube, which I don't really get. I guess I'm old. But, so the basis of their platform is that professional gamers or even amateur gamers who want to become professional gamers should get paid, rewarded for their skills while they're getting better. But really, basically, all it seems like it is kind of a online gamers gambling platform. They host tournaments on there and give away rewards and whatnot for winning. And they just launched their second version of the beta platform, I guess is what it looks like here. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, it looks interesting. I could, if they could get some professional gamers on there, maybe they could do something. It did say that they do sponsor some professional gamers already. So, maybe they're getting out there in the gaming space. I don't really watch a lot of professional gaming, so. But yeah, that's what First Blood is. Any questions?
I think if you don't watch professional gaming, you're missing out.
I mean, First Blood, does it have anything to do with the movie?
Yeah. John Rambo is their lead developer.
I'm in. I am so in.
You're telling me the Italian stallion himself? No, first of all, let me tell you. Exactly. Let me tell you who I don't want in charge of anything.
Get to the chopper.
That's Arnold.
That's Arnold. We're talking about
It's almost the same time.
It is. It's almost the same accent, just less Austrian. More. What was he like? New York? He's from I don't know, Brooklyn.
From Philly.
Is he Philly? Well, I mean,
he's Italian. He's from Italy. I don't know.
Well, he's American.
He's
but
Italian stallion.
I'm not sure where he's from. Cryptocurrency. No, that was definitely Arnold. Okay.
Let me tell you who I don't want in charge of my dApps.
Yeah, Adrian dApps?
Yeah, get the shards. Yeah.
You know what movie I really liked of his was what was that?
Please say Hangman or whatever it was.
No, they were in
Hang
a tunnel.
Time.
No, they were in a tunnel.
Oh yeah, underneath New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to
Daylight?
try to...
Was it called Daylight?
Daybreak.
Yeah. Daylight.
Where they Copland.
That was a pretty good one too, actually. Yeah.
Dude, what about Judge Dredd?
Oh hell yeah! Okay, you're right. I forgot about
Judge
that.
Dredd was awesome.
Honestly, I liked the remake of
Taco Bell.
Judge Dredd better.
Yeah, all restaurants are Taco Bell.
I won the fast food wars.
Hey, I think about it. This is crazy. I think about that all the time. Every time I pass a Taco Bell, I always think about all restaurants are Taco Bell now.
How much do you think Taco Bell paid?
Oh shit!
The number one, the food war.
Probably
warrior.
a lot
Man.
in terms of First Blood tokens. Probably a lot.
First of all, if Wesley Snipes is in it, I'm watching it.
Yeah, unless it has to do with taxes.
Hey, I support him. Fuck taxes. All right. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna go in the middle. All right, my coin is Sakura Bloom, which sounds like something that Dalsim does in Street Fighter. It is not the Sakura Bloom. Or I guess that would be not Dalsim. Who's the American Air Force guy? What was his name?
Jax.
No. White dude, blonde hair.
Johnny Cage.
Iceman.
No, you guys don't remember Street Fighter?
Yeah, but I can't remember
Oh,
that is.
yeah.
Ryu.
No,
No, it's Ken and Ryu, and
Ken.
no, it's the American Air Force pilot.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He shot like a little blue, like a
Augen.
No, that was Ken and Ryu. My wife says a woo chuck, and it was weird. It was like the first time. Yeah, it was like the first time we were talking about Street Fighter, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I love Street Fighter." A woo chuck. And then it was just like a pause, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
We were probably gonna get so much shit for not knowing this guy. Oh,
Somebody look him up.
Gil?
That's what it is. Guile.
Guile, yeah.
That's
okay.
exactly what it is. Guile. God, come on, Brandon.
I always liked Rainbow Mika because of her massive boobs.
I looked it up, and I am still
Mika, that's not
scrolling
real.
through these guys.
Rainbow
it is.
Mika's not one.
Yeah, she's
Chun-Li. Rainbow Mika
Well,
is some
no,
racist
she's Street
character.
Fighter 2. No, she was Street Fighter 2.
I always liked Blanca.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
always Blanca, of course.
Blanca was pretty badass.
My brother, my older brother was always one of the real characters. I always had to be the weird animal.
Dude, my
I
favorite
like
was
the,
Scorpion. I know that's a different game, Mortal Kombat, but like,
I like the
I've
big
literally
over
successfully
here.
successfully cut through 2 minutes and 4 seconds of my 3-on-3
Oh, yeah.
tangent.
Okay, go on.
Talking
Go
about
on. We need to get back on track.
we kind of got back to mine with the gaming aspect.
Yeah, see how this all ties in, people?
Fei Long was pretty good. Okay, go on.
It's just like a belly button. It's a circle.
Goes around.
And time's up.
And I've got 30 seconds left to tell you about this coin that the use case page just has pictures of exchanges it wants to be on. So,
I mean, that is the use case.
so I don't think it's the use case. I was actually really encouraged. The website looks pretty good. It's pretty clean. I went to use case. There's nothing on there. I went to a page that said results. I was like, yes, results. That's what I want to see. I want to see a cryptocurrency publish their results. It is not results though. This is just a list of I don't even know what to say. Oh man. It's a list of like events they've been to.
You can't go over your time. What do you think this is, man? 3.5?
3.5?
3.5? This is 3 on 3. I think 3 on 4.
All right, Heston's doing another one you probably never heard of.
Oh, you have heard about this, and you've probably heard about this if even if you don't know anything about cryptocurrencies.
Your time starts 5 seconds ago.
All right, so this week I thought it was really fitting to choose this coin because today is actually the day that they delisted this coin on the very last exchange it was listed on. So my coin this week is BitConnect. Anybody in the crypto sphere knows what BitConnect is, but there's probably some of you out there listening that don't. So we'll go a little bit. I only have 3 minutes, and there's obviously a lot to talk about. So I'll go a little bit into it. So BitConnect is very infamous. Basically, what it was a multi-level marketing scheme. Now, multi-level marketing businesses can be successful, and they're not always Ponzi schemes. This one definitely was. So basically, how
pyramid schemes.
Yeah, basically how it worked was that you would deposit your Bitcoin into their platform and get their BCC, their BitConnect coin. And with their BCC, it gained interest, basically. So you got a return on your investment. Now, the more people that you invited onto the platform to deposit their Bitcoin, the more interest you would get. So there were levels, depending on your interest. There were levels to how many people you invited to how much return you would get on your investment. And the bigger this grew, the more holes in the company that started to show. Really, at the end of the day, in about December, the price hit an all-time high of about $463 USD. And within a month, it had dropped down to below $3. Then a month after that, it was trading about 50 cents. So, I mean, imagine that, $463 to about 50 cents within 2 months time period. I mean, it was an amazing, amazing crash. But that was basically when the truth came out that it was a big Ponzi scheme. So lots of people are still getting investigated about this. Trayvon James, Crypto Nick, there were some huge YouTube stars at the time, and they were posting videos about them, making hundreds of thousands of dollars with BitConnect. And they were making that. But at the end of the day, they were pumping a Ponzi scheme. So the people at the top that were inviting a bunch of people in, they were getting all the profits. The people at the bottom that were getting in were really not getting much profits at all. So a lot of people lost a lot of money. It reached a $3 billion market cap. So today, obviously, once it came out that it was a scam and a Ponzi scheme, it got delisted on a bunch of exchanges. Today was actually the last exchange pulled out and delisted it. It was the God, 3 minutes is tough. There's a lot into that story that to hit.
Yeah, 3 minutes is real tough for BitConnect. Maybe we'll do a coin focus on it someday.
Probably not. Nobody cares about it anymore.
That's true. Don't buy BitConnect, and I don't know if Herbalife or the Church of Scientology comes out with a coin. Just do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Well, that about wraps things up for this episode of The D. Be sure to tune in next week where we attempt to interview SafeX. We'll see how that turns out. Stay tuned to see if that's going to happen or not. We are too. Also, if you know anybody from SafeX, let them know. We're trying to talk to them. We want to talk to them, and we want to help you guys get out the word for your mainnet launch. And so we know it's coming up soon, and we want to help you guys. We want to be a part of that and help you guys get it out to as many of your people as we can get, and people that aren't your people yet. That's the whole idea.
Also, if anybody knows Vitalik out there, we've been trying to get him on the show. So, if you know him, let him know that we've been trying to get a hold of him so he can hit us up. Love to have him on the show.
We'd love to have him on the show. Do not tell anyone, do not tell him that Heston compared him to a zombie.
That was not me, by the way. That was really not me.
I thought that was your tweet.
That was not my tweet.
P, was that your tweet?
No, I was muted. I was like, that's my tweet. I did that. I don't know which one. I was like, that was me, Peter. Oh,
I thought that was yours.
No.
All right, well, nobody tell him it was Prater. Anyways, guys, check us out. Be sure to send us comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think about the show. Give us tips, feedback, whatever you like, whatever you don't like. We'd love to hear it all. Don't worry about it. Check us out at DTalk Podcast on Twitter and Facebook, Decentralized Talk on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, MusicCoin, and Google Music. Links to the Wix website in the description below. Stay decent, cryptos.